So, hi everybody. So I'm Genevieve from Colorista, and Melanie will help me. She will be running the chat with me. So today I have planned to dye some yarn live for you. So let me just tell me a bit about myself. I know I do recognize a lot of names, but for people who don't know me, I'm Genevieve. I am the dyer of Colorista. I'm located in Laval, Quebec, just north of Montreal. And I've been dyeing yarn for 5 years, about that. And I started it I was a translator in my old life. And I started dyeing yarn just to put some color on my needles and as a creative outlet, because I really love color. Color is really important in my life. Even though before I became a knitter, I was always dressed in black, like today, but this is my dyer's outfit. So I was always dressed in black, but knitting really brought color into my life because I really started seeing all those beautiful yarns and wanting to wear them. So my wardrobe has really changed in the last 5 years. It has become really more colorful. And I was wondering, is it the same thing for you? You can answer in the chat if you feel like it. Did you discover some more color? Did your life become more colorful because of knitting? Or are you more classical and dress in blue and navies and blacks and just wearing like funky socks or something like that? Or did it really brought out your colorful personality like it did in me? I'm just wondering if you want to answer while I continue babbling. And I talk really fast, so I'm going to try to talk more slowly. And I'm French speaking, so sorry about my English. And I'm trying to do my best, but sometimes I'm just like looking for words. So if you want to help me, that will be really fun. So just a little bit about my company. So shipping is $9.95 in Canada and free over $125. And if you're in the US or in the elsewhere, just reach out to me and I'll try to find the cheapest shipping option for you. So, and I'm offering this weekend until the midnight Sunday, $15 discount in my shop on everything. So the code is FLA15. So it's good until Sunday night. And if there's anything missing in my shop that you want, that there's not a quantity, just write to me along. And I dye everything to order. So it's no problem if you, let's say you want 6 of something, but I only have 5 listed, just write to me and I'll do it manually for you. So there's no problem. I'll process your order. So for today, I decided I really like doing a live dye session because I think it's interesting and we all work a different way. And I usually try things that I don't usually do. Well, I really like going without a net. So I'm gonna ask you to tell me which color you would like me to dye, but I'm gonna show you the kind of yarn I'm going to dye. So I'm gonna dye, it's heavy lace, 600 meters. It's a really nice 80% untreated merino, 20% silk. And I'm gonna do some plant pooling. So you can use plant pooling, let's say in a shawl like, just let me get it. In a shawl like this, which is the float pattern by Dawn Baker. Melanie's gonna put the link in the chat. So every time you get to the different color, you make a little floret like that. But you could do a knot, you could do like anything you want, a daisy or whatever stitch you like. So everything you get, every time you get to that color, that different color, you just do a little flower. So it's a really nice and you don't have to think about it when you knit. It's really nice, and everybody gets a different type of shawl. So I like individuality. That's a hard word to say. Individuality. So everybody gets the different thing. So for mine, I use skein and a half. I could have used 2, but you know, sometimes I just get bored. have to change, and I wanted to sample. So it's a really cute shawl. You have the float and the calico, and she has other ones, and you can create, you can take the pattern, any shawl pattern you like, and just do a little flower when you get to that color. So let me see. Also, I have some green, red and purples. Okay, blue, pink, grays. So Lucy likes cold colors. So is there any blues? Balls. Okay, so I have a nice, it's sure that I have an idea of what I would like to do. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna dye 4 skeins of yarn, but the opposite. So there's gonna be the pooling part, because you have to take like 30% of the skein and dye it contrasting color. So it's gonna be the opposite. You're gonna see my setup in a second. You're gonna understand what I'm talking about. So the long part will be in one pot and the short part in the other one, and vice versa. So are you ready? So we have a lot of blues. So I was thinking of doing like peachy, a peachy part, and grayish blue other part. And maybe I'm gonna do some transition in some other color. Are you okay with that, everybody? Would you like that? So I'm gonna switch my camera. I'm really not that good at technology. So if everything just like goes up, I find a way of coming back. So let me go in my other. I don't know if you're like me, but this year, for the last 2 years, I really got big on technology. So let me change that. Okay. So you have the 2 pots and you have me. Yeah, everything's working. So this is gonna be the 2 pots I'm gonna be working on. And my yarn, which I did, since there's a silk content, it's been soaking in water since early this morning. Because silk really is doesn't want to soak up water. So I'm gonna put some citric acid. I started my pots because the water was getting cold. So I'm gonna put some citric acid in each pot. I usually use 1 tablespoon per pot. So it's 1 tablespoon per pound of yarn, about. But I only have 200 grams. But there's gonna be a little bit more. So like one heaping tablespoon. That, and always make a mess in front of people, so that's good. And I stop that. So while you look at the acid citric dissolving in the water, you're gonna put some glove on. So I have 200 grams of yarn per pot, but it's gonna be 2-ish, something like that. And I'm gonna write the recipe because I'm not sure. Let me just get some color. I'm gonna mix a peach and a more coral one. I like mixing colors. I don't use a lot of pre-mixed colors. I use mostly primaries, but these one are pre-mixed, but usually I make my own colors. I like that better. It gives me more possibilities to create stuff. So, I write really bad, so I cannot reread myself afterward. which is really fun. So sometimes I create a color and it does come out quite different. I'm just writing it down. So sometimes, because these colors, I always create new colors. And they're all one of a kind. I do them in pairs. But I do write the recipe because sometimes I don't want to redo the same thing. So I check what I've done and I try to do different things. Or sometimes I really, really like something and I try to take one part of it and redo it. So this is my peachy and lobster thing. I'm gonna put it in this one. So I've never done that color, so we don't know. Okay, and in this one, I'm gonna put more grayish, bluish something. And they're already on my website. So we're gonna call this one Demo 1 and this one Demo 2. So the longest part that's gonna be peachy is gonna be Demo 1. Melanie, I hope you're taking notes about that. And the other one, which the longest part will be more of a grayish blue with the hint of purple. I feel like it. Or maybe green, purple, green, lavender. Okay, maybe lavender. I'm not used to dye. It's always funny for as a French speaking person. When I say dye, I always feel like dying, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm not used to dying in front of people in every sense of the word. I'm gonna really put just a hint of lavender. It's gonna be more romantic, more springy. So there we go. So let's hope it's gonna be beautiful. So now it's the tricky part because I'm gonna put just this part with the shower curtain thingy in the blue, and this part will be in the peach coral that we don't know how it's gonna look like. So let's go. And I'm gonna do the opposite with the other one. So everybody's seeing well. Okay. So now you see that we have a white part. So I'm gonna work the dye up to do like a gradient to the gray and the opposite too. I can use my little cup. Okay. So I'm gonna push this a little bit in. So I can get some, turn it. Some of you have already tried dyeing yarn. Do the same for the blue. Sometimes I just get like crazy ideas. I don't know. I will go here. Turn. Ah, I love it. Do you like it? I think it's really nice. I might do some transition color here. Okay. So what do you think? Karen is asking how long does the yarn needs to stay minimum to absorb the color? So usually I let it cook for 30 minutes at least, but sometimes all the color, the water has to be white, clear when I finish, but sometimes it gets clear before 30 minutes. But since I did put a lot of dye, because I had more, so it's more or less 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 40, sometimes it depends. And sometimes I do 2 pots at the same time with the same yarn, the same, everything's the same. And one pot goes really fast and the other one doesn't. So that's why it's really hard to have the same colors, the same color lots, repeatable colors. Because sometimes it just, things happens in the pot, you don't know. Okay, but usually it's about 30 minutes. So I need the water to be really clear. So sometimes I can put some mini skein of yarn just to absorb what's left. And so my process is finished when the water is clear. That's about what I can say about that. Do you have any other color? Well, you know, Melanie, I think there's I'll ask Yuriko for the recording of what I've done, but I did write it down. So I might do some, somebody asked for bronze, so maybe I can do some copper speckling. Should I do it on the pearl one or on the gray one? Which one would you see the pearl speckling? Would you prefer? Or on both? I don't do speckling with the direct powder because this is my laundry room. And if I don't want to speckle the wardrobe. So, and I really dislike wearing a mask. So if I was using a powdered form, I would have to wear a mask. So I use liquid form, but I use the 1% solution because I always work with 1% solution, which means that for, let's say, a liter of dye solution, I use 10 grams of dye powder and I mix it. So all my colors are made with that percentages. Yeah, I do have a speckled wall, which I'm gonna have to remedy or cover when I sell my house. But it's not the artistically speckled, it's more like dirty. This is a dirty job. Let's say the dyeing yarn is it's not for clean freaks. Let me go check. So you see the color is getting absorbed. This. Oh, I really like it. It's really nice. What do you think? I really, if I move, the more I move, the more the color gets absorbed. So it's a different techniques. You know, sometimes I would put dye and not move the yarn at all because I just want it to set at specific places and I don't want to move it around. But here I really like the gradient thing it's giving. So you can, if you do the, like the float shawl, you can start it, your florets here or in the darker blue. The same for the other one. I really like that. So did I get an answer on speckles on the grapes? Melanie says. So I'll do, this is like a brownish orange color. I'll take a little cut, put some in. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna use it's fun. Toothbrush. So, okay. So let's go and do some so now I cannot move this part because if I move it, it's gonna dilute in water because it's not set yet. I'll wait a little bit. I'm gonna put some here, or maybe I could do some light green. Could you see it light green here? Just a little bit. I feel like it. So I'm the boss.
Hi, Danielle. We have some questions from the chat while you're fixing your green. Somebody asks if you are using acid dye.
Yes, I'm using acid dye that are set with citric acid.
And Lucy wants to know if the colors are going to be darker when they dry.
No, they're going to be lighter. Les couleurs vont être plus pâles. Always. It's like when you wash your jeans, they're a darker blue than when they're dry. It's the same thing. When something is wet, it's darker than when it's dry.
Super, thank you.
So I need something. I'm not sure I have here. So I'm gonna use that spongy thing to do like a transition, and let's hope it's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna put some more. Dilute it a little bit. So, you know, sometimes it's really so you know that sometimes I just hand paint. You can see now more different techniques.
I have a question for you, Geneviève.
Yes.
I was wondering, have you ever considered giving dyeing classes?
Yes, but I don't have time. Mostly because of that, and also a lot of people are doing them, and I think they're really good at it. So I don't know if I'm a good teacher because I really get into my thing. And it's really a trial and error. Just have fun with it. That's what I always tell myself. I need to have fun. If I don't have fun, I don't do it. And explore it. Well, it's only yarn, you know. If I miss it, I'll just dye it black, and that's gonna look nice anyway. But that's my theory, so I don't get scared of doing stuff. I always tell myself, I'm gonna dye it black, over dye it black if it doesn't come out nice. And you know, sometimes I don't like something, but some people will love it. So, you know, we all have different tastes, and sometimes I really get surprised because I think our color, I like it, but not that much, and people just go crazy over it. So it's really a different. Okay, so we'll let that sit and see, and we'll adjust it.
Hi, Geneviève, it's me again. Tiffany
Yes.
has a question. She
Yes.
says, can you explain what it means to over dye something?
Okay, but while over dyeing is, let's say I don't like that color, so I just take a lot of black color or a darker blue, whatever, and I just dump the yarn in it. I dye over it. I cannot make it lighter, but I can make it darker. Let's say I don't like that blue, I could make it navy blue afterwards. So it's infinite possibilities, you know. Sometimes, let's say I have wider parts on color, so I'm just gonna do a second dye bath with just a little wee bit of the darker color to cover it, and it's gonna be done. So but the yarn has a certain capacity to absorb color. Yuriko, I'm sure you can talk to that too. So if I cannot go over that. Let's say that I can put 3% of weight of the depth of shade on a color. When I cannot go over that, I'm gonna, because the color doesn't get absorbed. So if I stay within my range, I can add layers and layers and layers of color as much as I want. It's like when you don't like, you have a nice tablecloth and it's all dirty and you just over dye it black. You know, sometimes it's all clean and darker and you have a new tablecloth. So it's about the same thing. But I don't sell these. I keep them for myself. Oh, so I'm making a mess and I'm closing my pots. Okay, so you see the speckling? But I want to put some more here. There's not enough.
Careful, I think your towel is in your dye. The speckling.
Yeah, but thank you.
Okay.
It's okay. It's the way I reuse every dirty towel or dishcloth or whatever. It gets a second life here. So that's why I have all my old towels and stuff. No new stuff here. Monsieur COLORISTA knows now that when we have sushi, we always keep the little plastic cups. And when we have applesauce too, when the kids come over, I always keep them. So that's what I use. That's it. So that's about like 5 to 10 minutes. Oh boy, it's sunny now. Sorry about that. I'm like a ray of sunshine. It's really like weird weather here. So do you have any more questions?
I know I do.
Oh, I know. Here we go. We never.
I have a loaded one for you. I was wondering, where do you go, or what do you do when you need to recharge your creative battery?
Well, I love going for walks. Like if I can go in the woods or something, just to breathe fresh air, which is nice. We have a little boisé near here, a little wooded area. I really like walking there. I don't go that often. I often meditate and listen to music, which is really good. And, you know, I put some 80s music and I just like dream of things. I see color in my head. So, and I like to go to the museum. Like I went to see the immersive exhibit about the Monet, which was really nice, but really beautiful. So I'm just looking at people. That's really a big inspiration for me, just looking at people. When I go to the store or everything, I just look at the way people are dressed or whatever. I don't know where I get my inspiration really. Sometimes it's really, it's gonna be weird. It's a really mathematical thing for me, creating color. I don't know, Eureka, if it's like that for you, but sometimes I just like make hypotheses. Let's say I like a color and I just tell myself, okay, I'm gonna subtract that color and I'm gonna put this instead, maybe put a higher percentages of that color or lesser, just so it's really all a trial and error, but mostly trial. I believe that it's never an error. Everything I do, it's not an error, it's just something different. So I just like to try some stuff, you know, like let's say I like a blue and I'm gonna tell myself, okay, let's say I change that blue for a green, but I keep that the black and the brown I put with it, just to see what it's gonna give out. Or what if I put some, let's say like bright yellow on that blue thing and black, and just to see what it's gonna turn out. And so it's really like that. And sometimes I'm really into my creative process and I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, okay, if I take 70 mil of blue and 50 mils of red and I mix it with peachy, and so I write my recipe and I kind of see the color. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Sometimes I just don't know. So I think creativity is everywhere in my head, in people, and place I go. And so just sometimes I just need to get out of here and not die. But right now I'm dying every day, even today on the weekday, because there's Net City in 4 weeks and we just learned about it that it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm really into production. So I have all my production calendar is done, and it's gonna be tight, but it's gonna be nice. So I'm gonna have new colors, which I'm thinking while I'm dyeing the other colors. I already have my racks up, so I know everything I'm gonna bring. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun work. If I think the area over the top of the pot gets enough heat to set, well, I'm gonna put that area, when the color is set, I'm gonna put it back in their pots to finish when the water is gonna be clear. So it's gonna be set. No problem with that.
Sweet little feather.
Oui, les speckles, j'ai fait aussi à l'intérieur. C'est pour ça que je les ai tournés. Là, je vais probablement les retourner encore pour aller chercher chaque. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm speaking in French. Okay, so for me, every skein has 4 sides. So usually if I do a speckling or whatever, I'm gonna do it 4 times. Like one side, and flip it one side, I turn it one side, and after that I check and I just put some where it's missing. So it's like a square for me. So I have to do every side of it, even if it's moving parts. But I try to do it so it's quite even. And it's really hard. Obviously, it's really hard because there's always one that doesn't cooperate and you forget. So do you have any other question for me? Melanie, do you have a question?
Yes, I have an infinite number of questions in my head. I was wondering, right now, what's your favorite base you like to dye? Because you said you were prepping up for knit study, so you're probably dyeing on a lot of different bases, and I was wondering which one is your favorite?
My favorite base? I always love dyeing my basic sock. It's always one of my favorites. And I really like the new color series I did with your color, Melanie, with Nathalie Ariel, and I made some kind of witchy colors. So I'm gonna show them to you later on. I did Love Potion and Amulet and Knight's Armor. So let's see, I'm gonna go check on my finish part. Oh, I really like it. It's gonna be like a little leaf around the little blue flower. So you see that it's almost here, it's white. So I can just, this is gonna go and set in there for 30 minutes. Timer are my friends. Did you know that Siri often makes little jokes? Well, she does to me because I always ask Siri for timers. And she said like, it tells me stuff like, oh, I'm boiling with impatience. In French, we say je bout d'impatience. So I translated and she says, I'm boiling with impatience. You know? So it's we have fun like that in my studio, me and Siri and Alexa. Like you have the fun that you can have when you work alone. So
that was one of my other questions. Like,
yes,
when you dye, you do everything like you do your stuff alone. You don't ask for any like your Monsieur Colorista or somebody else to come.
Yeah, you like company.
Yeah, but you know, with COVID, we didn't have the chance to be together that much. But I was wondering if you ever asked for company from Monsieur Colorista.
What if I ask friends for help?
No, if you ask like for people to be there with you, either to help or just to keep you company.
I just I don't hear well, Melanie. Can you repeat your question?
Oh, no problem. So my question is, do you dye alone, or you ask for people to help you, or just ask for people to be there just to, you know, to keep you company?
Okay. No, well, I usually dye alone, but sometimes if you can be there, Melanie, it's nice. But we often dye together, and but usually I'm alone, and Monsieur Colorista comes and help me, and you come also and help me with skinning, and Monsieur Colorista does the rinsing for me, and the little cutting of the because there's there's yarn strands that help that are holding the skeins, and he does cut the little ends because I don't like them, they look messy. So he does do that for me, and he rinses every day, comes down and he rinses yarn, and he does a little bit of bookkeeping for me too. And Melanie helps me with when I do presentation, and she does help me with skinning, twisting the yarn, and labeling also. So we're gonna start again to work together. It's been a long while because without shows or anything, I didn't have the volume to need that much help. But now she's gonna be helping me. So we're gonna be together, Monsieur Colorista, Melanie, and I at my booth at the Knit City. So that's gonna be real fun. I can't wait for that. Let me just go and shake things up a little bit. So here we see that I think there's not enough. It's a more diffuse speckling that if I was doing with powder. I like it. I'm just putting that. And I know the water is not enough because I'm having a hard time keeping my hands in it. I think this will go for also, even if it's almost done, but you know, just to be sure. I really like that. So I'm gonna take my gloves off and I'm gonna show you the new colors. Take a sip of water. I usually never have anything to eat or drink in my studio, in my laundry room, sorry. But for today, I'm making an exception. So I'll do a transition, smooth transition again. So I'm back full screen. So I made I like doing colors by 6. I know I'm only gonna show you 5, but the sixth one is an older color that really fits well with this. It's late spring. So I'm just gonna, so I made 5 new colors, which I really like. So we have here, it's Amulet. Love Potion. Which is like a reddish gray, like brownish color. This is Knight's Armor, which is golden brownish gray, I would say. And I have Confidant here, which is more of a burgundy-ish, purplish prune color with lighter parts, which I like. And this is Note à l'Ariel, which is the base of this collection. It's a color inspired by Melanie's imagination. If you follow her on Instagram, you'll see it's a lot of dark colors and deep browns and deep reds and deep grays. So this color is really inspired by her skills, her talent. So this is Melanie's color, Note à l'Ariel. So these are new colors. And I'm also working in my head right now on new colors for Knit City. But it's really mostly in my head. So when I get to the pots, the colors are already, the recipes are done in my head and I just have to do it. I don't know if it's experience or just my brain that works like that. I really don't know, but it's just the way I cook yarn. But I'm also like that in the kitchen. You know, I think of something and I'm tell myself, I'm gonna put some of this and some of that and it's gonna taste like that. It usually works out. So I think it's the way I think about things and I create stuff. It's just drawing. Drawing doesn't work like that for me. I think about drawing something and it looks like a 4-year-old just done it. So it does work for some things, but not all the things. Do you have any other questions?
There is one in the chat. Danielle wants to know if you use the same technique for dyeing mohair.
It depends. Yeah, I usually apply. I just that I'm more careful of not too much moving stuff around. But I'm usually, and maybe I'm gonna start at the lower heat level and really go gradually. But I don't change much if I do mohair or silk or whatever. It's the same process, but I'm gonna be more careful, let's say, because yarn can take a lot. You know, superwash yarn can take a lot of beating. On the way, sometimes I make knots, I make lots of stuff to yarn, and but for mohair, I'm more not respectful, but I'm more I don't want it to felt or anything, so I'm just I go slowly when I dye mohair. But that's about. I could do the same thing. I could do the same technique to do like a plant pooling or whatever. And we call it plant pooling because, you know, when something pulls, sometimes it's not something intentional, but this is intentionally made to pull. So that's why it's called plant pooling. Any more gentle? That's what I meant, gentle. I'm more gentle with the yarn. You know, like silk is a really resistant and really strong fiber. But mohair is kind of more fiddly to work with. You have to be more careful, like any untreated wool. Like this one also is untreated, so I'm not doing crazy stuff to it. I try. I'm always doing crazy stuff to yarn, but I really like. Sometimes I just wake up. Well, I'm gonna try this and make knots and put tie wraps and whatever. And I try elastic. Is not good. Try that. Don't try that at home. It's really bad. It's not good for yarn, and it's get melty, and it's not nice in hot water. It's really not nice. So do you have any other? I'm gonna look at my questions. So I was wondering, are you more of a process knitter or an object knitter? I know sometimes I knit stuff because I just want to try something, a new technique, or I don't like doing twice the same pattern. I get bored. Like doing 2 socks, it's really boring for me. So I always do them 2 at a time, or else I only have 1 sock. Like mittens or really like sleeves. I have to do 2, you know. So are you more a process knitter or object knitter? Do you like really like you want socks, or do you want to try something new? I think it's really interesting to know. So for Melanie, it's both. And for Melanie, she's more a process knitter, and Lucy's more both. So we're all different. And are you, if you're coming to Knit City, are you knitting a sweater? I've got 2 on my needles. I think it's I'm a bit estimating my capabilities, but Karen loves to try new stitches. And Stephanie really likes to learn something new with each project. I really like and trying different designers and different types of projects. It's really nice. Oh, Melanie, you're such a fast knitter. I'm sure you're gonna have a new sweater for Knit City in no time before I finish one of my 2. But I'm doing 2 sweaters. One is in DK weight and the other one is a cardigan in the worsted weight. So I'm used to doing fingering weight sweaters, and it's really going faster, but I'm not sure I'm gonna finish both. I'll try one at least. Or maybe I won't have sleeves for the sweater ones. I think the cardigan I will have finished because I'm already, I think I'm gonna separate for sleeves and body this tonight. Oh, Nancy doesn't like blocking. I love blocking though. I'm a process knitter, but I finish my knits because I don't cut ends though. Sometimes I'm wearing my new sweater and I've got all these ends coming out of them because I just forget. I'm so eager to wear them. But I don't have bins now. When I finish something, I block it and then it's finished. I may never wear it, but it's finished and with the ends not cut. Tiffany is love color work and details. Okay. I always look. I like my, well, you know, it's kind of part of my work to show what I'm doing. So I always block my knits to show them the nicest way I can. So that's something I find art. I don't know, Yuriko, if you're like that, but since yarn is my job, knitting has become part of my job. So sometimes I feel obligated to knit samples and stuff. So it's not that it does take a little bit of fun out of it sometimes. You know, I just force myself to finish it and block it. No, so maybe I would have a bin of unblocked stuff if I wasn't yarn dyer, but you know, so it becomes a little bit of my job. So I try to do like embroidery and other stuff just to change my mind, because or else sometimes I just get like I have to knit, and I don't like having. We have enough stuff to do, so I like in French il faut. I have to. So yeah, that's true. Me too. I hire some sample knitters sometimes. Yeah, because you have to have fun doing some things, and sometimes you know a yarn will look good in something that you're not really good at knitting, so it's gonna be painful. I know for myself, it's gonna be painful for me to knit it, but I know the yarn's gonna be gorgeous. So it's better if I find somebody that's really good in that type, let's say a really lacy shawl or something. So I try to find somebody that's really good at this to knit it faster than I would, and the result will be nicer. So I try to do that too, so I can enjoy knitting. Yeah, but I really, sometimes I'm not knitting, and it's really part of my life. Even if it's my job, I really enjoy knitting. But sometimes I do take a break on Sundays. Let's say I don't knit a day or two, or I don't talk about knitting. Most of a lot of my friends are not knitters. So that's really nice for me to see people and not talk about knitting. So that's nice. Yeah, you have to change your mind, even if it's my life and I do it all day. Like my husband doesn't know anything about yarn, or well, it does get a bit better, and he asks me questions sometimes, which really surprises me. But you know, it's fun to talk about other things than knitting. But it's fun to talk about knitting. Do you have
I
any
have a
other
question
questions?
for you.
Yes.
I have a question. I was wondering because I'm gonna talk about knitting though, so just I had to, because and I was wondering, when you knit, are you more like a reading kind of book or listening to a podcast, or are you more like watching a movie, a TV show? What do you prefer?
For me, usually my boyfriend is a remote controlled grabber, so he really likes to go every channel, even if it's boring and really fast. So there's no image on the television screen. So usually I knit while he does that, or I put I watch TV mostly. I watch TV. Nothing that ask me for too much concentration. I try audiobooks, and I really get lost in the story, so I don't knit. So I really watch like reality shows and stuff that I don't need to watch really, and I knit.
Any good shows right now to recommend? I was wondering.
I finished a Yellowstone that Delphina Sophie was talking about. I'm sure I'm still don't know if I liked it, because I think nobody's likable, and that's, I don't know if you people watch that series, with Kevin Costner, but nobody's likable. So it's kind of, and really violent, and my God, I'll never go to Montana. It's really like crazy people. So I'm not sure but I did watch it, the 4 seasons, but I'm still unsure if I really liked it. That's kind, so I don't know if I would recommend it. It's kind of, nobody's likable. That's, there's usually at least one person that you say, well, I hope he makes it or something, but not really in that series. So I don't know why I watched it. So maybe we called it Le Cowboy because we watched the French translation and they say cowboy. So we were always watching Le Cowboy. So it's really lots of blood and bloody, and people get killed there. I don't know if is there somebody who went to Montana, but you don't feel like going there. It's not really good for their tourism or something. So that's what the last series I watched. And so anybody else, do you have any good series? Did you watch Yellowstone? Did you like it? Or you're like me, unsure? But there's a 5th season coming, so I'm sure I'm gonna like it. See it, like it, I don't know. I'm kind of unsure. So I think it's on Prime Video. So, hey, we have 3 minutes. So do you want to know my name, my word? So my word is pooling for the treasure hunt. So I hope you liked what I showed you. I'll get back and show you the scenes, what they look like. I'm just gonna put my gloves on. This one. So this is the color 1. It's already in the shop. And this is the color 2. So, and this is color 2. So you see the water is all clear, everything's absorbed. Back here. So I hope you had fun. So my word is pooling, and the code until tomorrow, promo code for 15% off everything in the shop is FLA15, and shipping is free over $125 purchase in Canada. And it's $9.95 elsewhere. So I hope you had fun and you have a great end of day. Yeah, there's other makers this afternoon. Later today, it's going to be nighttime here, but in the West, it's going to be late afternoon. So I hope you had fun.